The boy is playing with the latest tablet computer, but as he spins around, another face suddenly appears behind him. He shifts the camera slightly to the side, in a spot where no one is standing. The tablet detects another face. The boy is terrified. He immediately flips the camera toward the closet. This time, nothing unusual shows up, but he's still scared. He quickly shuts the closet tight. The boy thinks everything will be fine now, but what he doesn't realize is that thing never left. The next morning at breakfast, he stares at the other room. He has a feeling that thing is in there, so he grabs the tablet and runs over. He types out a word on the screen and plays the pronunciation.
Is Dad gone? Is Dad gone? Yes. Hello.
Then he types "Who are you?" After a long wait, the tablet gives no response. He figures it's just a system glitch, so he walks back to wash his bowl. But right at that moment,
I am Larry. Your parents want you to be normal. I just want to be your friend.
our protagonist, Jack, has congenital autism. He can't speak. He can only express himself by typing on his phone. That's why he's the only student in class allowed to bring a phone. And because he's been immersed in the world of screens for so long, something seems to have spawned inside his phone, a monster. That night, a drawing mysteriously pops up on Jack's phone. It shows a tall monster and a little boy. Jack tries to exit the screen, but nothing happens. He can only swipe to the right. The monster calls itself Larry and says it really wants to be Jack's friend. Before Jack can finish reading the drawings, the lights around him start going out one by one. Worried that the monster might burst in, he rushes to close the door and barricades it with whatever he can find. But it's no use. That thing still gets in. Terrified, he dives under the covers, sobbing uncontrollably. Thankfully, it's only his mother who walked in. He tells her there's a monster in the room. Mom thinks he just had a nightmare. She doesn't take his words seriously. She simply holds him like she always does and soothes him to sleep. The next day after school, a few boys who are jealous that Jack gets to bring his phone to class lure him to a vacant lot near the school. They toss his phone aside. What they don't know is that Larry has been watching everything they did.
Who's up now?
Afterward, Mom picks Jack up, but the phone is still lying in that field. Mom doesn't understand what he's thinking, so she takes him to a counseling center. The counselor asks if his phone was lost in the field. Jack tries to say the word field, but despite his best efforts, he can only manage the F sound. So with the phone gone, would Larry disappear too? Evening, Dad brings home a tablet from work as a gift for Jack. The moment Jack gets it, he can't wait to download all his apps. He also starts playing around with the latest camera filters. What follows is the scene from the beginning. It isn't until the next day, when he receives a clear response from Larry, that Jack becomes certain the monster isn't in the house. It's hiding inside the tablet. Mom sees his terrified expression and assumes he found out that Dad moved out. She keeps trying to explain why his parents are separating, but Jack is too frightened to pay attention to anything she's saying. In a panic, he hides the tablet under the stairs. He thinks it's just a little software trick. To prove it's nothing but a filter, he boldly walks to the corner and waves his arms around, trying to show everyone that this so-called Larry doesn't exist. But right then, the table suddenly slides to one side and pins him tightly in the corner. Luckily, Mom hears the commotion and rushes downstairs. Only then does Larry's prank come to a stop. That night, the parents come to pick up the boys, but the boys don't tell the truth. Instead, they point the finger at Jack.
Where's Oliver? He's a freak.
The next day, while changing light bulbs, that Larry story appears on the tablet again. Mom barely reads 2 lines before crashing sounds come from another room. She goes over and finds the lights flickering. She climbs up and taps them a few times. Then she heads back to the living room to continue replacing bulbs. But when she looks up, she discovers someone has already replaced all the bulbs for her. The lampshades are still swaying. Whoever did it clearly just left. She immediately grabs a knife and searches the house. That's when Mom realizes the tablet is behind all of this. But she doesn't think in supernatural terms. She believes someone is spying on Jack through the device. Completely shaken, she rushes to the school to find Jack.
Someone was watching us at home. They said they wanted to take you.
Before she can finish speaking, the phone rings. It's the parents of that boy. After a night of struggling, the boy has confessed to his parents about what really happened. It wasn't Jack's doing. It was something called Larry. He recounts every detail of what happened.
So you guys played make-believe?
No. He's the one that hurt me, not Oliver. Larry. I could feel him. His hands around my neck. He tried to kill me. Larry just wants a friend. Larry just wants a friend.
The boy keeps repeating the same thing over and over, scaring his parents badly. That night, Mom packs their bags, planning to take Jack to his father's house. She repeatedly tells Jack not to bring the tablet. Jack initially agrees with his mother, but just before they leave, Larry makes him change his mind. He sees the flickering lights and can't resist checking what Larry wants, so he peels off the tape and opens the camera. He watches as the slender Larry walks into Jack's room. Jack follows him in. Larry hides under the bed and reaches out a sponge, giving it a gentle push. He genuinely seems to like having Jack as a friend. Then he reaches out again, gesturing for Jack to come closer. You have to understand, SpongeBob is Jack's favorite cartoon character. With his autism, he's always longed for companionship. A friend who understands him this well is even harder to find, so he doesn't listen to his mother. He secretly slips the tablet into his bag. Larry starts causing trouble. Same old tricks. First, the lights go out. Dad has to grab a toolbox to fix the wiring. While he's busy with that, Jack starts playing with an infrared distance meter. At first, it reads over 400 meters, but as he shifts direction, it suddenly drops to 50 meters. He looks up, nothing there. He looks down again, 30 meters. To test whether Larry is really in front of him, Jack pulls out a small toy and tosses it forward. The boy finds Jack again. Jack tells him the sponge was a gift from Larry, but Dad smashed the tablet, so Larry might never come back. The boy asks, "Why won't you be friends with me anymore? We used to play together all the time." Jack types out an awkward reply. "I did some bad things before. I hurt you. Your mom doesn't like me acting that way toward you." The boy says, "I didn't even get a bruise that time. I never cared about it. I asked my mom, and she said your mom told her you didn't want to be my friend."
That is lie.
Wait, so you never said that?
Lying. Wrong. I never.
The boy at night, Larry finds Dad and threatens that he won't stop until he becomes Jack's friend. Outside, car lights and horns start going off one by one. Dad is genuinely scared. He tries to go outside, but Larry slams the door and locks him in. Dad holds up his phone and looks out. Larry is lurking right outside the door, pacing back and forth. He grabs an iron rod for protection, but in the blink of an eye, Larry is inside the room. Dad seizes the moment and bolts out, locking the door behind him. Then he drives away without looking back. The car races forward as the streetlights behind him go dark one by one. Before long, Larry catches up to the car. Soon after, Mom receives word that her husband was in a car accident and is in the hospital. The police are still talking when the phone signal suddenly cuts out. Mom steps outside to find a signal, but that's when she notices Larry has appeared on her phone screen. She throws the phone away in terror. She even tosses the old landline into the trash, but none of it works. Mom demands, "What do you want? Where did you come from?" Larry says humans are always staring at screens, forgetting to communicate with each other. Everyone is actually very lonely. The images on screen even contain a threat: he can take Dad to another world at any time. If they won't let Jack shake his hand and become his friend, he won't stop. Mom snaps. She throws out everything in the house that has a screen. Then she starts unscrewing every light bulb. Jack, overwhelmed, screams and spins in circles. Mom loses control for a moment and blurts out something hurtful.
"Can you just be normal for 1 second?"
Those words are like salt on Jack's wounds. Mom immediately realizes what she said and rushes to apologize. She explains that Dad got hurt, it was probably Larry's doing. "I can't let him come and hurt you too." The two of them decide to leave the house, but they discover that Larry has taken control of every light in the entire neighborhood. The lights go dark one by one from the distance, all the way to the neighbor's house. Then, he says, "Mom, you made me lose my friend. I have no friends. Now I want to be friends with Larry." Mom quickly stops Jack. "I did this to protect you." Perhaps this is the message the film wants to convey. The inner world of an autistic child is deeply lonely. As parents, you can't turn a blind eye to certain behaviors. You need to spend more time listening to their thoughts. And the prevalence of electronic devices has made people immerse themselves in virtual worlds, neglecting the friends right beside them. Under his mother's repeated gentle persuasion, Jack finally understands. Mom didn't lie to drive away his friend, she did it to protect him. By now, Larry has entered the room. Jack notices that when the lights flicker, Larry's feet appear and disappear. Something clicks in his mind. Then he speaks the word he's been trying to say all along.
Fear, 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 fear.
Jack then grabs his mother's hand and they sprint toward the open field. Larry chases after them along the electrical grid. They don't stop until they reach a patch of land with no power system.
There's no electricity here. He can't get us.
The two barely have a moment to celebrate before Larry's voice comes from the tall grass. Everyone forgot Jack's phone that was tossed away that day is still lying in this very field. Larry suddenly lunges out of the grass. Mom grabs Jack and runs, but they're moving too fast. When they reach an abandoned car, their hands slip apart. In that split second, Larry drags Jack hundreds of meters away. Larry extends his hand to Jack, offering friendship. Jack thinks for a moment and decides to accept Larry's request, but the instant he reaches out, Mom suddenly appears and grabs Larry's hand instead. She says, "Let me take Jack's place. After all, we both want to protect the same person."
I love all of you.
After that, Mom is pulled into the phone. Only Jack is left, alone in the empty field. Days later, Jack learns to speak. His very first words are "Mommy loves me." With the boy's support, he makes many new friends. One night, the flickering lights wake Jack from his sleep. He follows the lights downstairs. Before long, Dad is woken by giggling sounds from below. He comes downstairs to find his son spinning in circles, holding on to thin air. Jack is even lifted into the air and spun around. Terrified, Dad immediately holds up his phone to look. And that is the full story of the under-the-radar horror film Come Play. Over 6,000 people rated it 6.3 out of 10. For a horror movie, anything above 6 is considered solid. Many viewers were actually moved to tears by this horror film. Although it's a horror movie, the entire story is really about love. What's most frightening and touching is that final scene of Jack spinning in circles with his mother. A mother sacrificing herself for her child. It's a universal maternal instinct found throughout nature, and a common theme in cinema. That's all for today's story. I'm Jack, your guide to underrated thriller and horror films. See you next time.